Doing an island drive around now, setting off from Admiral Park at the Premier Inn. I'm going to take you up along the west coast via the Route de Militaire, through Cobo, Vazon and Portlet, across the south of the island to by the airport, down through Val de Terre and across the seafront back to here. So just left the Premier Inn where I'm staying for the last couple of weeks of my 3-month stint in Guernsey. Seafront is right ahead of us. Looking across to Herm, the island of Herm. I went there a couple of months ago, lovely day out in Herm. It's a beautiful day today, it's 20 degrees. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning. So we're just going a little bit north at the moment. Heading towards St Sampson, but I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to go as far as the bridge, as they call it. It's an old German bunker on the right hand side there. Sea is looking really blue this morning. We're having a good few days of weather at the moment. It's been lovely. Don't think there's a seafront Sunday on today. They often have a seafront Sunday where they close the seafront and have various activities going on along the seafront, different themes. I'm now going to head inland. This will take me onto the Route de Militaire, which will bring me out near roofs in Vale, parish of Vale. As soon as you get off that main seafront road, the roads start to narrow down slightly. That is a feature of Guernsey roads, they're all quite narrow. You often find yourself having to go up on the footpath to allow other vehicles through, but one of the other features of the island is you don't very often see HGVs at all. And if you do see them, they're normally accompanied by an escort. Police, outriders, that sort of thing. Sort of now just coming onto the Route de Militaire, which is one of the main routes from east to west on the island. I think I've been told that it was built by the Germans during occupation to get quickly from east to west and vice versa. Said it is a quite straight road, taking the quickest route from one side of the island to the other, and being the size that it is, it doesn't take long to get from one side to the other. Another feature is the greenhouses, a lot of which seem to be empty, and quite a lot are in really bad disrepair. I think that was due to a hurricane that hit the islands a few years ago. Another feature, a cyclist. There's a lot of cyclists on the island, and it is quite difficult to get past them in a lot of cases, because the roads are so narrow and they're quite windy, and it's almost a given that you just got to follow them for a while. It is common for cars to let you out at junctions, much more so than in the UK. They tend to let you out and you thank them, and they look at you and say, "Why are you thanking me? It's what we do." And if someone lets you out and you thank them, they're quite surprised by it, I think. Maximum speed anywhere on the island is 35 miles an hour, but it is quite rare for you to even get anywhere near that sort of speed anyway. It's quite common to see too, people just out trimming their hedges, no indication or signs to say that they're doing it, they just do it. I'm going to take a left at this filter and take me up towards the coast. Towards Lillet and Cobo Bay. Another feature is granite walls on one side and a footpath on the other, so you have got somewhere to go to get past people if you need to. But granite walls are everywhere on this island, as are a lot of the buildings are granite too. coming up to La Rousse, which was the first place I went to when I got to the island for a chill out and a cup of coffee. Take a right here, takes us down to Cobo, Port Swap. So we're just coming now round onto the coast road. This is particularly popular with the cyclists. See them all the time. Just up ahead there is the Peninsula Hotel. I stayed there for a few nights back 3 months ago, not long after I'd arrived on the island, just a couple of nights before I went home for a few days. Decent enough hotel. We're sort of in the area now where Oliver Reed used to live. I think if I came to live on the island, I'd probably look to live somewhere over here. As you can see, we're only 10 minutes away from St. Peter Port. But it doesn't matter where you are on the island, you're never far from anywhere because the islands are so small. From where we were driving the seafront at St. Peter Port, we're across the other side of the island now on the west coast. I'm heading south. There aren't really many sort of seaside resorts on the island. I think Cobo, which we're approaching now, is probably the most like a seaside that you can sort of imagine. Palm trees. It's very sort of tropical climate on this island. You can't forget that you're only 25, maybe 30 miles from France, Normandy. About 25 miles from Jersey as well, which is a bigger island, not been there. But it's a bigger island and it's closer to France. I always think this building we're coming up to now looks a little bit like a French chateau or castle, something like that. I think it's down to the little spires that it's got on it. We're just coming to the edge of Cobo. There's a kiosk here. Kiosks, they're places where you just go and sit and have a cup of coffee and a sandwich or a piece of Guernsey gash, as they call it, which is like a fruit cake, their own take on a tea cake, I suppose. But it comes in slices with butter. Quite nice, but nothing special. But we're now at the popular resort of Cobo. It's got a lovely beach. Can't see it from here. I might see it on some of my drone footage. Here's the traffic lights that have been here since I got here back in May. As I said, this is the nearest you'll get to a typical British seaside. Going through the filter and turn system. Took me a few days to get used to that originally when I first got here, but it seems to be a good system of traffic control. Hotels in Cobo as well. The beach looks quite busy today. There's quite a few people down on it, enjoying the sunshine, the sand. A lot in the sea too as well. There's another filter in turn. Route to Cobo. Beautiful properties across the front here. Lovely balconies overlooking the bay. Imagine living in a place like that. there's tricycles pulled over to let us pass. That's quite a nice thing to do. Quite a nice leisurely drive for a Sunday morning. It's quiet, but the traffic is moving quite slowly, which isn't a bad thing. We're now coming out of Cobo and into Vazon. The sea looks really calm today. Vazon is popular for surfing. Doesn't look like you've got much of a swell on today. Fort Homé, I went there yesterday. It's only open on a Saturday from 2 to 4:30. Nice little remnant of the German occupation. Event can be a nice thing. Vista's Cafe, I've had a couple of breakfasts there. It's not bad, it's quite good. And the surf school, along with one of the towers and a German occupation bunker there as well. It's a shame they've got a wall all the way along here. It'd be lovely to see the bay as you're driving along. Intending to get a lot done today. This is my last weekend, last Sunday on the island. I go home on Friday. I'm not sure if I'll return. It's a possibility through work, but there's nothing nailed on with that, so we'll see what happens. But I must say that I've enjoyed my time here, loved it. Just miss the family and friends at home, neighbours. Kiosk. We have to move slightly inland now just to cut off the corner. when the weather's good in Guernsey, I can't think of a better place to be, but when it's bad, there are many places that would be better to be. Back onto the coast road now. The weather forecast did say there may be thunderstorms later, but there's hardly a cloud in the sky. Come round this headland, you may see ahead of us a German radio station. When I say a radio station, I mean that in the sense that it was a radar receiving and possibly transmitting establishment. There are a couple over this side of the island. There's this one, and there's one at Plymouth as well. See it up in front now, a tall circular building. And once you got past that, you'd pretty much driven this coast road the full length of the island. Here's the big radio tower. Another German bunker on the right there. Also, that's the entrance to Lehigh Island, only accessible at low tide by walking. Another lovely beach here, looking across to Fort Grey, the white fort that you can see in the middle distance, known locally as the Cup and Saucer. We're just waiting here because somebody's just stopped to talk to somebody. Pulled over on the road there. It's alright, that's what people here do. No rush, no panic, no need. Another bunker. So we're nearly at the southernmost part of the island now. There's the Cup and Saucer, Fort Grey. It's now a shipwreck museum. Guernsey Pearl visitor attraction. Very, very nice burger. Lovely beach here again, not so busy this one. We're almost as far as you can drive along this section of road, so I will cut inside now, which will bring me to the middle of the island, and I can go back down towards St. Peter's Port. Sorry, St. Peter Port. The Imperial Hotel. You can walk from there down to the ferry ring. Back onto the narrower roads. This is always surprising that these narrow roads are still bus routes. Roads are pretty quiet though. It's a Sunday morning, 11 o'clock-ish. Coming inland from anywhere on this island is all uphill. And you'd expect that, but these are very steep hills. I don't think you realise how small Guernsey is until A, you drive around it, or B, you see it on a map and compare it to the Isle of Wight, and you could probably get 5 or 6 Guernseys onto the Isle of Wight. And the Isle of Wight I've always thought was pretty small, so see the church ahead. That sort of steeple always gives me a feeling of French influence, really. That's how it seems to me. When I came past here a few weeks ago, they had a fair on of some sort on the field by the church. And a scarecrow festival. From what I can pick up, there's a lot of French influence. All the street names are in French, road names in French, but the Guernsey people tend to pronounce them in English, like lay becomes les, things like that. Still moving slightly inland. this road will bring us out very close to the airport. Most of the properties tend to be rendered as those were in front, or you can see the granite build on them. Clearly, apart from the modern things down in the port. A lorry. Don't see many of those. Interestingly, apart from a little bit down by the seafront, Guernsey doesn't have any dual carriageways at all. There's no railways and there's no rivers. It is essentially just a little rock in the middle of the English Channel. Lovely little rock though. There's the venture in. Me and my mate Ed went there for a pint. Another filter and turn system. Nothing's coming, so I'll take priority. We're going to take the couple of mile drive down to Val de Terres, going past the airport and through St Martin's. Guernsey Airport. Been there a number of times. There's the Happy Landings pub. Le Bouet, you can go down that way to Edinburgh, lovely little beach, nice kiosk too. Just past these traffic lights is Le Chêne, which is where I spent 6 weeks of my stay, in an Airbnb at the back of it, just by this granite wall. By the way, there's people are standing. I enjoyed it there, it's nice. And it was walkable to the airport, only 10 minutes walk or so. is quite a nice drive into the town. We will be coming up to the parish of St Martin in a minute. Nice part of the island. Building sticks out here a little bit into the road, which can be a bit unnerving if other vehicles are coming in the opposite direction. I wonder how many times it's been hit. Sure, that was one of our vans that had just gone the other way, coming out of the Wicked Wolf, which is where our contractors stay. Not the most salubrious of establishments or places to live. Standard accommodation, so they say, isn't great. Turn right at the filtering turn system. He got here first, so he's going. I'm going now. Well, temporary traffic lights here. Which is an improvement. The road was closed last week. In the middle of St Martin's now. Another place that would be an attractive place to move to because of its proximity to St Peter Port. We're only just up the road from there. Such a shame that there isn't a coast road all the way around the island. That would be lovely. It's only up the west and across the east. Through St Peter Port. But it's interesting to see what the inside of the island looks like too. You see a lot about what the beaches are like and the coastal walks, but you don't see much of the actual island itself. There's a nice bay down there, Main Bay Beach. I'm going to turn right here, which will take us down Val de Terres, which very steep, very windy, ridiculously so, but they use it for hill climbs, where they get different cars of different categories drive from South Esplanade in Guernsey. There's this finish line, you can see the white line across the road. It's quite steep. The strobe effect of the sun through the trees doesn't help. The first time I drove this road, I thought, how can you have such a windy road so close to the capital port on Guernsey? And there we have it. We're coming down now into St. Peter Port. Tide looks quite high at the moment. Actually looks quite busy. You see the black marks on the road there, that's the tyre marks on the start of the hill climbs. Got Castle Cornet to the right. Cornet, which I went for a walk around pretty much as soon as I got on the island after a couple of days. Doesn't let me through. There's a Condor ferry in, so either people coming to or leaving the island. It always surprises me, considering the population of Guernsey is 65,000 people, how many boats there are in the harbour. It seems that everybody that lives in Guernsey must have one. There's Fountain Street going off to the left, and now this is the main drive through St. Peter Port. Coming up to what's called Weybridge Island, which is the entrance to the port of Guernsey. This is where you come in from the Condor ferry. Recognisable by the huge mast with all the flags all over it. jetty here where you catch the Herm ferry. Looks like it's about to come in because there's a queue of people there. Five or six sailings every day. So we continue along the front of St. Peter's Port. We've been through the busy bit. This is a lot of finance houses and that sort of industry establishment. Now we're coming to a sort of row of pubs and guest houses, bed and breakfasts, things like that. The tide's gone out a bit from when I came through earlier on. Still quite high. We're very nearly back at where I started at the Premier Inn. These flats are lovely, aren't they? Imagine sitting on there with a glass of Diet Coke after a busy day, looking out over the English Channel across the Herm. Maybe on a clear day as far as Sark. For some reason these traffic lights always take an age to change. This is my route into work in the morning, or has been. Another cyclist, of which there are very, very many. And into the Premier Inn car park to complete our trip around the island. Saying this week that the Admiral Park development, of which the Premier Inn and all these offices are part, was actually completed. Well, there's still a lot of boards up at the top end past Waitrose. There's been talk that that was supposed to be a cinema, but it's never materialised apparently. And we're back at where we started. So that was a trip around Guernsey. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later.